Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Welcome to all those who are coming in. So while Purim doesn't actually start until tomorrow, tonight we are going to be exploring some of the themes of the holiday. And Purim is a strange holiday. The cantor and I were talking earlier about this week about our level of enthusiasm or enjoyment or into itness that we are. And every year leading up to Purim, I'm not quite there. And then it comes and I'm like, oh, now I know why we do it. It does make sense. And we can have fun and be silly with our Judaism. So it's a strange holiday, and it's one where we say, again, they tried to kill us, we won, let's eat. And so as it seems silly to say this each time, because in the Judaism that we live today is so much less about survival, and it's so much more about how we can gain wisdom from our Jewish tradition to help us live the best lives that we can live. For some people, it might be about survival, but for others, it really is this way of being and looking to our tradition for guidance. So, of course, more in recent history, our identity and our lives happen to be more at risk than they were before October 7th. And being Jewish is once again a lightning rod for those who hate us. And that is why Purim is different. There are still 134 hostages being held in Gaza, and there's an ongoing war and an upheaval to Israeli life. And what's happening in Israel is also in some way happening here in the United States with anti-Zionism and anti-Semitism. And last night we heard from 4 people who survived October 7th in various ways. So Purim here and around the world is taking on a different tenor, quieter one, a holiday hushed because of the easy comparisons that we might take between the story that happened in Persia so long ago, or that was written about Persia so long ago, and what's happening right now in the world. So tonight, we are going to put all of those things together, I hope. We're going to have a little bit of fun. We're going to have a little bit of imagination of what Purim could be, and all the while celebrating Shabbat, which is our day of rest and renewal. So tonight we are recognizing again and praying for the release of this young man, Idan Alexander. He is an American and a lone soldier serving in the IDF. So last night one of our guests from Israel spoke about this person with a sweet character and how his mother in New Jersey is sick over the fact that her son is held hostage. And so we pray that he may experience a miracle on this Purim and that he be released with the rest of the hostages soon. I'll put his picture over here so we can get this nice young 20-year-old. We are going to begin now with a song, actually, with some announcements from Janine Hutner, and then a song. Okay.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
I'm Janine, representing the Board of Trustees, and I would love to welcome you to the temple this evening. The beam of flowers this evening is in loving memory of Buzz Lever from the Lever family. Shabbat morning yoga, body and soul. Please join Amy Nistel and Cantor Jen Rower tomorrow morning at 10:30 a.m. Deadline for reservations for the Seder dinner is March 31st. Please try to make it so we know how much food to buy. Social Action Committee meeting on April 7th at noon. Please check the bulletin for more information, and please join us after services for Kiddush in the hallway, where we will have the opportunity to greet one another. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. So our opening song tonight is La Yehudim, and it is one of the lines from the book of Esther, and it is on your pink sheet.
Yes, but on the pink sheet, I uncharacteristically forgot to give you the translation.
Oh.
It's a beautiful verse from the Megillah. Perhaps a little bit different than how we're feeling these days, but a beautiful picture of the Jews enjoying light and gladness, happiness and honor. And then paired with that verse from the Megillah are these 5 little words that are a prayer. So may it be for us. So I think this song is new to everybody, so I'm going to teach it to you, and then we're going to sing it together. La Yehudi Haita Ora, Haita Ora. So easy, try that with me. La Yehudi Haita Ora, Haita Ora. Here's the next part. Vesimcha, Vesason Vikar. Try Vesimcha, Vesimcha, Vesason Vikar. La Yehudi. La Yehudi, Haita Ora, Haita Ora, Vesimcha, Vesason Vikar. Here's the next part.
We'll turn now in our prayer books to page 120 for the lighting of Shabbat candles. I'd like to call up Debbie Mashalel to lead us in the candle blessing.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'hadlik ner shel Shabbat. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Page 124. We enter the sanctuary to welcome Shabbat. Within these walls, we sit surrounded by numberless generations. Our ancestors built the synagogue as a visible sign of God's presence in their midst. Throughout our long history and our endless wanderings, it has endured, a beacon of truth, love, and justice for all humanity. Its presence guided our ancestors to live to lives of righteousness, holding them up to a vision of their truest selves. Now we, in our turn, come into the sanctuary to affirm the sacredness of our lives. May we enter this place in peace. May holiness wrap around us as we cross its threshold. Weariness, doubt, the flaws within our human hearts, the harshness of the weak, let these drop away at the door. In the brightness of Shabbat, let peace settle upon us as we lift our hearts in prayer. Page 146, we'll rise together for the Baruch Hu. Standing and turn to page 152 for the Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
section. Find the Ve'ahavta on your pink sheet.
Love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. And these words which I command you on this day shall be in your heart, shall be in your heart. Teach them faithfully unto your children. Speak of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you lie down, and when you rise. Bind them for a sign upon your hand, that they may be a symbol between your eyes. Write them on the doorposts of your house and upon your gates, and upon your gates. Teach them faithfully unto your children. Speak of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you lie down, and when you rise, and when you rise, and when you rise.
You may be surprised to know that Yom Kippur and Purim have a lot in common. Yom Kippur and Purim have a lot in common, at least through the name. It has the Hebrew word pur in it, which is the word for lot in the gambling sense. So it's found in both words. On Yom Kippur, a lot is drawn to see which of the goats will be sacrificed and which will be loaded with the sins of all the people and then sent off into the wilderness. So they're deciding between the two. On Purim, the lots were drawn by Haman, who I'm conditioned now. On Purim, the lots were drawn by Haman to decide on which day all of the Jews would be put to death on account of Mordecai not bowing down to him and because of the Jews' general otherness. So thinking back to Yom Kippur this year, which is very hard to do because it seems like a very long time ago, one of the topics that I spoke about on Yom Kippur was anti-Semitism. And little did we know that even on the rise of anti-Semitism that was happening in September, how it would look in March of 2024. One of the points in my sermon was that even though anti-Semitism is one way that strengthens our resolve as a Jewish people, it shouldn't be everything. It can't be everything. And Purim is instructive for us because as everything is turned on its head, meaning that we were supposed to die in this story, but we didn't. And that is the reason why we are so joyful on Purim. So yes, we need to shed the tears and deal with the trauma in the story then and in our lives now, as our guests who were here last night said. But we also need laughter and celebration. And we need to find the great things about Judaism to bring us in, not just because other people don't like us, but because we love ourselves and we love our tradition and our people. So we need that joy too. And our next prayer song is about joy. It's about our liberation from slavery in Egypt. Mi Chamocha on page 158.
Mi chamocha bailim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar bakodesh, nora tehilot, o seifele, nora tehilot, o seifele, malchutecha, לפני משה ומרים, זיילי, ענו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. אדוני את יעקב, וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל.
Page 162, our prayer for Shabbat v'Shamru.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם, ביני ובין בני ישראל כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת וינפש.
Turn now to page 164. Rise, if you are able, for the Amidah.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Ve'konei Hakol, Ve'zocher Chasdei Avot Ve'imachot, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה, אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מחלקל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומידו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישוע, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
Please be seated. Page 173. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. Please join with me. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. Page 175, asking for God to accept our prayers. Whenever we come together to pray, we offer multiple prayers for peace, and this is just one of them, Shalom Rav, on page 178.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim le'olam. Ki ata hu melech adon, l'chol Shalom, ki ata hu melech adon, l'chol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, tasim le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha,
Along with prayers for peace, we also offer prayers for healing. Find the words in the Misha Berach on page 371. And this week in our community, we are praying for the healing of Marvin Jacobs, Haley Lorenz, Lois Roth, Betty Benjamin, Richard Herman, Bonnie Ross, Cindy Bramson, and Yitzhak Halevi Ben Miriam Cantor Ivor Lichterman. To those names, we add the names of the people in your lives who are in need of healing on this Shabbat. We'll start on this side of the room. Thank you. We add all of those names to the names of the people in our community, and we pray for their healing.
May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
We'll continue now with our own personal prayer.
Oh, say shalom, shalom bimroma. Uya say shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen.
going to turn to page 574. Purim actually starts tomorrow night, so it doesn't start right now, but we are still going to say the blessing over the reading of, it's not quite the right page. 573? Yes, 573, yes. So, like I said, Purim doesn't really start till tomorrow night, but we are going to hear from Cantor, who's going to read from the Megillah, which actually is one of the items that's in our beautiful case out in the hallway. So we're going to get to use the thing that we have, which I'm very excited about. It's written incredibly clearly as well, right? Like, looks like a Torah scroll.
Gorgeous.
So there's a tradition of 5 holidays throughout the year where there are scrolls that we read, scrolls or books of the Bible, and Purim is one of them, where we read the book of Esther. And so generally, the idea of this book is that there was a king, Ahasuerus. There was a young woman named Esther who becomes the queen. There was Vashti, who was the king's original wife, queen, and she refused to dance in front of all of the king and his friends, and so she's sent away, like that. And and then we have Mordecai, who is Esther's adoptive father. He is either her cousin or her uncle. It's up in the air as to which one he is. And they go through this whole drama of Esther not showing her real true identity until the king, well, there's a lot that happens before then, but we are going to read chapter 7, so I'm trying to get us up until that point, realizes that there's this bad man, Haman, who wants to kill all the Jews. And so Mordecai is giving Esther information, and Esther is in the palace and is trying to figure out how she is going to save herself and her people. And so the story goes that she eventually, rather than just telling the king outright what is going to happen, she invites Haman and the king and all of the people to a banquet and has this big reveal. And this is the moment of the big reveal in chapter 7.
Dun dun dun.
Dun, dun, dun. So the cantor is going to chant it in Hebrew. We are going to hear the word Haman, Groggers. And after that, I'm going to share with us an alternative ending to the story, which is not in the Megillah, but it is a modern picture of what it could have been. So this is where we're going right now. So let's do some blessings. Anything else to add?
I think we might need some help with the Megillah.
Oh,
We need
great.
maybe one person to help hold.
Sure, I don't know how you do it. Yeah.
Do you want to hold the other side? It's just going to roll in on it.
Sure. Okay.
So
We have a
is there
volunteer.
One person to help hold one side of the Megillah for me.
Isaac wants to help.
Perfect. Come on up. Great. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al mikra Megillah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asa nisim lavotenu bayamim hahem bazman hazeh. Amen. Okay, so logistically, where's the microphone?
It's right here.
I didn't think that one through.
Do you want this one?
It might be complicated to try to get it on right now.
Do you have pockets?
No.
Okay. All right, Alyssa, can you come up and help? I thought you were raising your hand, but it was really Anne. And now I see.
Oh, do you want to hold the microphone maybe?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that would work. Sure, we'll figure
Welcome
it out.
home.
We'll figure it out. Welcome home, Alyssa. Okay, I picked this up.
Okay.
Okay. So first we're gonna find our spot. On my props. All right, let's see how we're gonna do this.
And after services, if anyone wants to see what this looks like up close and personal, we can do that as well.
I used a holy paper clip. Okay, so
right, Isaac, switch places with me. You stand here.
You're gonna just kind of hold this. That's right, you got it. That's all you have to do. You're pro. Melissa, there we go. We did it.
We did it.
Okay, so I am gonna read this in a way. We'll see, this is your challenge. That even if you don't know Hebrew, I am gonna challenge you to follow along in the English and see if you can tell what I'm saying. We'll see how you did at the end. I hear papers rustling. We are following directions. It's a good start. Vayavo Hamelech veHaman. Wait. Okay. Hamelech. Who's Hamelech? The king. Haman. There we go. Lishtot im Esther Hamalka. Vayomer Hamelech leEsther gam Vayom Hasheni b'mishtei hayayin. I lost my spot. Ma she'elateich Esther hamalka v'tinatan lach umma bakashateich ad chatzi hamalchut v'te'as v'ta'an Esther hamalka v'tomar מצאתי חן בעיניך המלך, ועמו המלך טוב. תינתן לי נפשי בשאלתי, ועמי בבקשתי. כי נמכרנו אני ועמי, להשמיד, להרוג ולאבד. ואילו לעבדים ולשפחות נמכרנו החרשתי, כי אין הצער שווה בנזק המלך. ויאמר המלך אחשוורוש, ויאמר לאסתר המלכה, מי הוא זה ואיזהו אשר מלאו ליבו לעשות כן? ותאמר אסתר, איש צר ואויב המן הרעה הזה, והמן נבעט מלפני המלך והמלכה, והמלך קם בחמתו ממשתי היין אל גינת הביתן, והמן עמד לבקש על נפשו מאסתר המלכה, כי ראה כי חלתה אליו הרעה מאת המלך, והמלך שב מגינת הביתן אל בית משתי היין, והמן נופל על המיטה אשר אסתר עליה, ויאמר המלך, הגם לכבוש את המלכה עמי בבית. הדבר יצא מפי המלך ופני המן חטאו, ויאמר חרבונה אחד מן הסריסים לפני המלך. גם הנה העץ אשר עשה המן למרדכי asher diber tov al hamelech omed beveit Haman. Kavo ha-chamishim amah vayomer hamelech Teluhu alav vayitlu et Haman al ha'etz asher heichin leMordechai ve'chamat hamelech shechacha.
Yasher Koach. Woohoo! All right, no blessing after, like the Torah. All right, nothing after. Thank you.
Spirit of Purim, I'm joshing here,
Yeah,
is supposed to continue. The spirit of Purim is supposed to continue.
that is true. The spirit of Purim is supposed to continue, and we are supposed to read the whole thing. We read part of chapter 7, which was amazing. Thank you, Cantor, for your voices and hats. That was awesome. So, just as we chanted Megillah, the 7th chapter, where Haman got his comeuppance from the king, what was the Hebrew word that we were talking about? Tuluhu. Vayitlu, like he was supposed to be hanged, right? Esther revealed herself as Jewish, using her brilliance to save herself and her people. What comes next in the Megillah, 2 chapters later, in chapter 9, is something that we generally gloss over: the killing of Haman and his 10 sons, and also the revenge killing of 75,000 people in King Ahasuerus's kingdom. So the text says, in Esther's voice, in chapter 9, it says, "If it please your majesty," Esther said, "let the Jews in Shushan be permitted to act tomorrow as they did today, and let Haman's 10 sons be impaled on a stake." So it is impaled later on, anyway. And then it goes to say a few verses later, the rest of the Jews, those in the king's provinces, likewise mustered and fought for their lives. They disposed of their enemies, killing 75,000 of their foes, but they did not lay hands on the spoil. So this is not something that we talk about much when we're reading the book of Esther. It's 10 chapters, there's a lot to discuss, and this is obviously not one that we get to very often. So in this time of Purim, where everything is turned upside down, I wanted to offer another way that the story could be turned upside down once again. So what if Esther did not call for revenge for all of those who tried to kill them? What if, instead, the story was told differently? So the Shalom Center is an organization led by Rabbi Arthur Waskow, and he compiled 7 alternative versions of chapter 9 of the Megillah from 7 different authors. And some take the tone of the text itself, like reading like a translation would. Some have magical, mythical creatures that save the day. Others have long-form poetry, and others have like this gender-bending idea. Highly recommend you go look at them. They're very interesting. The one that I want to share with you tonight is one that considers what a peaceful laying down of arms could have looked like. This is by a woman named Arlene Goldbard. And it reads, "And so on the 13th day of the 12th month, that is the month of Adar, when the king's command and decree were to be executed, the very day on which the enemies of the Jews had expected to get them in their power, the opposite happened, and the Jews got their enemies in their power. King Ahasuerus had chosen Esther for her grace and beauty. Once she confided that all that had transpired since that day they met, he also loved and admired her for her wisdom and skillfulness. Calling Esther to his chamber, he put this question: 'What is your wish now? It shall be granted.' My beloved foster father Mordechai said, Esther, is rightly esteemed throughout the land for helping to bring about the end of Haman's cruel plot. Many of the people of Shushan, especially the Jews, now consider his power to rival your majesties. His actions awakened us to with forces of baseless hatred. We need a voice of peace to banish it. Will you bring the Jews together and allow me to stand at your side and speak with your authority that I may be that voice? The king called to the Jews of Shushan to assemble in the palace courtyard. Atop a platform was a great table covered in golden cloth. King Ahasuerus and Queen Esther were seated side by side. The king rose to speak. People of Shushan, I gotta do it. All right, people of Shushan, you know that a great tragedy was prevented when the brave and wise Mordecai and his daughter, my lovely and brilliant Queen Esther, showed me the evil plot Haman devised against my loyal subjects, the Jews, who have flourished here. Know today that Queen Esther has my full authority to speak what is in her heart and her head. I entreat you to listen with open hearts and minds. With that, the king returned to his seat and Esther rose. Beloved Jews of Shushan, she said, let me ask you a question. As you move about through the towns and the villages, have you learned what the people of Shushan expect us to do? Revenge, kill the enemies, rang out from every corner. And what have we learned from revenge? Asked Queen Esther. That blood begets blood. If we were to kill even 75,000 of our foes, what would the remaining Shushanites do to this day? From the silence, a small voice called out, their fear of us would be great. They would plot their own revenge, thinking we might pursue them next. Yes, said Esther, blood begets blood until Shushan drowns in it. What will safeguard the security of Shushan? What will stop the cycle of blood? If every citizen of Shushan has equal safety and freedom, security will be fulfilled, not for a moment, as in a ceasefire in wartime, but for true peace. I am going to tell you a story about how that can happen, and at the end, I will ask if you will join my king and myself in making it so. You will recall, said Queen Esther, that Haman has 10 sons. There are some in his courtyard who would put them to death, in this courtyard who would put them to death. Murmurs rose in agreement. But I propose to put them to life. In his great generosity, the king will decree a new day in Shushan. His coffers will open to the Jews who close their shops to pack up their belongings in fear of Haman's plot. He will bring them home and give them the means to prosper. If their houses and shops are destroyed by Haman's mobs, they will be rebuilt. And the price of this will easily be paid. All the Jews of Shushan will agree henceforth to trade and build fairly and kindly with everyone in the kingdom, Jew or Gentile, in recompense for the king's generosity in repairing their lives. All of the people of Shushan will be free. But will they trust this? A voice called out. You are wise to ask, said Queen Esther. To spread the word that the king's pledge is to be honored and trusted, we have assembled a troop of 36 men and women. 12 are the sons and nephews of Haman, whose lives that have thus been redeemed. 12 are the sons and daughters of our community, chosen by Mordecai from every corner and every honored family of Shushan. And 12 are loyal women of my husband's harem. Esther bowed toward Ahasuerus. In the fullness of his loving kindness, our king has overturned a decree made in anger, allowing me to receive the counsel of the former Queen Vashti, who has taught the women about love, justice, and respect for self and others. The 36 standing together with all of us, they will form a delegation to visit every corner of Shushan unarmed, bearing gifts of food, medicine, clothing, and everything useful, telling the story of the kingdom's future where hatred no longer has a home. Queen Esther spread out her hands to all those who believed Haman will now believe his sons. Those who have trusted Mordecai will now believe his emissaries, and those who have been waiting to hear the voices of women will believe the women I have chosen to represent us. Are you with me? Yes. Okay. As the people cheered, King Ahasuerus rose from his seat and offered a declaration. Henceforth, the 14th and 15th days of Adar, the same month that has been transformed for you from grief and mourning to festive joy, every year shall be observed as days of feasting and merrymaking, and as occasion for the sending gifts to one another and presents to the poor. Consequently, these days are recalled and observed in every generation by every family, every province, and every city. And these days of Purim shall never cease among the Jews, and the memory of them shall never perish among their descendants. So, we come from a rich textual tradition that allows for the continuation of Midrash, for answering questions through imagination and more questions. And as we go throughout this Purim, which begins tomorrow night, may this upside-down holiday allow us to imagine alternative endings and dreams for days of peace. Amen. Okay, put the props away. We're going to back to our prayer books for Aleinu. Page 586. Please rise.
Aleinu leshabeach ladon hakol, latein gedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kigoyei haratzot, velo samanu kamishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, vegor aleinu ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
Page 591.
ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד ושמו אחד ושמו אחד.
Please be seated. Page 595. There are stars up above, so far away we only see their light, long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with the people that we loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us. As we live our days, these are the ways we remember. We are thinking of 3 who have died in this past month: Anita Barmash, Rochelle Russell, and Ted Cohen. We're also remembering the following for whom their yahrzeit occurs this week: Samuel B. Adler, Dr. Saul Baxt Asness, Mervyn Berenson, Mac Carlin, Ann Kahn, Arnold S. Feldstein, Helen R. Fox, Harry Greenfield, Maya P. Habergritz, Simon Heilbronn, Robert Hughes, Lori Katz, Marvin S. Kobacker, Sophie Levy, Madeline Levinson, Gladys Levitt, Barry Lieber, Fanny I. Myers, Max Noodleman, Matthew Oken, Harry Perisky, Alex Raymond, Hope Joyce Romanoff, Stanley Rubin, Alfred H. Sanborn, Blanche G. Seitner, Dr. William M. Shapiro, Herman Scharfman, Bertha Starsky, Joan Nigut Thorne, Madeline G. Truhaft, Morris I. Weinstein, Blossom Waxman, Lillian Weinstein, and Jean Younghart. If you'd like to share other names or correct pronunciation, I would invite you to do so now. Yes? Thank you. The words to the Mourner's Kaddish are on page 598. Please rise as a community for Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yikadash shemei rabbah be'oma divra hirtei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon uvyomechon uvchaye dehol beit Yisrael ba'agalal v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabba mevorach le'olam olamei omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemed kudesha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata da'amiran be'oma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be for a blessing. May be seated. Our closing song for tonight is the same that we opened with, La Yehudim, on your pink sheet. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
May we have a happy Purim and a peaceful Shabbat. Please join us in the hallway for Kiddush and Motzi.